Now we'll take a look at the project and then the connections quest and how they work. So the project, the first part is assigned in module 3, mindset, and each part is 2 modules later. So part 1 is in module 3, part 2 is in module 5, part 3 is in module 7, and part 4 is in module 9. So every other week. And so if I click on this career vision project part 1, here are the instructions, and it's pretty simple. Of course, the purpose. Now here is where they download the template, the PowerPoint template, and I'll show you that in a minute. But otherwise, here are the instructions, and it's very simple. The template basically has everything lined out as to what they need to do, and then when they recreate the PowerPoint with their information and their own pictures, and they can change it if they want to in the way it looks. So it just gives them a starting point. Then they'll go ahead and submit it to the Dropbox right here. Here are some grading criteria. Okay, here's the PowerPoint. Here's part 1, and you can see that it starts off with a basic slide. I have a generic picture in there. I have some generic wording, and then the instructions are underneath it if they need to refer to it as to what they're supposed to do. But they should replace the picture with something meaningful to them, and they should change the wording to reflect them. And so the first part is just learning a little bit about, okay, what is their career? Why did they choose this career out of all the possible careers? And so they'll write a statement there. What is your major? And you're basically taking a look at, does the major align with the career? Again, sometimes you're going to see a big disconnect between they're picking the wrong major for a given career choice. Then we want to learn a little bit about their current semester in their life. And so again, all the instructions are there, but they're going to talk about the courses that they're taking and if they're working and so forth, any time constraints. But this is where you start to see some issues. Again, if somebody wants to be an engineer and you see that they're enrolled in math 101 or even math 032, a flag goes up that this student is likely in the wrong major. But they will talk about their most difficult class and talk about it a little bit and maybe come up with a self-suggestion as to what they can do to improve it. So this first part is just, hey, this is me, this is what I'm doing, this is why, this is where I am. And then each part follows, real quickly, part 2, you can read the instructions, but it's about characteristics of the career field that they look up, and then they evaluate themselves in terms of do they match some of those characteristics. Then they just reflect on, is this really a suitable career? Part 3 is about their education. Where should they be based on the pathway? Where are they? What are they actually taking? Why are they behind, possibly? So the differences, and then kind of explain what you're going to do to get back on track and some resources that you can use to help. And then finally, part 4 is about employment, some details about expected starting salaries, job growth demand, and so forth. And then just some summaries. So this is not a difficult project, but it's useful if they take it seriously, because many students really are kind of walking down a wrong path. Grading is not difficult at all. So I've gone into one of my old classes. Again, I'll pick on Chanel since we've looked at her. But when you're in the grade book, if you click on their submission, and again, you have a template right here. So this should be pretty quick. And again, a lot of my feedback is fairly boilerplate that I'll cut and paste depending on what they've done. So you can quickly look through, and you can see that she made this her own, right? She didn't use the exact template. She gave herself her own pictures, but the content is there, and that's what's important. So I like to see students do something like this. So you can see that all of the information for part 1 is present. And over here, you've got the rubric, and so you can just click through real quickly. It'll give you the overall score. And then for somebody that has done everything correctly, this is just kind of a cut and paste and update. So you read it. Make sure you read it because this again is where you're going to see some real disconnects between goals and where they are, or picking the wrong career and major alignment. So look it over, but grading this should be fairly quick. Okay, so that's the project, the career project. Now I'm going to move on to the connections quest. Okay, the connections quest, there's three of these. The first one is going to be in module 4, where you can see here complete challenge 1. In the module 3, or maybe in module 2, it tells them to prepare for this and gives them an idea of what they need to do. So when they're ready to go ahead and complete the challenge, and again, the idea of this is for them to connect in some way to some resource on campus. And so if they click on this complete the challenge, they're going to come up to this. Okay. Now, if they've already done their preparation, they can go right to the quiz, and I'll show you that. But if they need to review the connections quest, I'll just click on this. But this kind of outlines again what the connection quest is, and depending on which challenge they're working, challenge 1, challenge 2, challenge 3, and you can see there are different choices of things to do, and they can ask you if they can do a different challenge, and as long as it's connecting to the campus, that's fine. So two things: they're going to pick a challenge they're going to complete, and then they have to have proof of a challenge, right? Some kind of proof that they've done this, screenshots, etc. And here's even a little video of Mav doing a challenge. And so they can review this if they want, but otherwise, if they're ready, they can go ahead and complete the challenge. And I'll just do a preview on that. So they'll go ahead and click in to take the quiz, which is basically what they've done. So I'll start the quiz here to show you what the students see. You can see for challenge 1, they'll click on whatever it is that they have done. And then down here, they will go ahead and submit an artifact, proof that they've done it. And I'll show you this in the gradebook. Again, this is automatically graded. You really don't even have to grade this. I'll just tell you what you need to look out for. Okay, when they've completed challenges, you can go into the gradebook. You can see in the gradebook, this is the MTC Connections Quest. Here's challenge 1. They'll notice everybody completed it, right? I probably didn't have to do anything to grade these. The only thing you might want to do is if just a spot check to make sure that they're doing it. So, for example, if I click in here on the question mark for Roberto Hernandez, I'll bring up his attempt. And so what he claimed to have done is register his vehicle and get a parking pass. Okay. And then his screenshot, I'm not going to open it, but it should be proof that he in fact did that. And then you can, I typically don't apply the bonus. They call it a bonus, but I don't check everything. Probably should. But I don't want to spend a lot of time looking at every single screenshot to verify it. So I might do maybe a third of them to just verify. And if I see a problem, then I'll dig a little bit deeper. But generally, they're very good about doing this straight up. Okay, and so that's your connections quest. Very little involvement of you other than making sure that they do it. This is something that if they want to submit it late, it's probably fine. I'd rather them do it than be hard on that. Okay, so that is the both the career project and the connections quest. Yeah, that's basically it. I know I've thrown a lot at you over these 3 or 4 videos, but this way you can go back and refer to them if you forget something rather than me over the course of 45 minutes throw all this information at you and it'll be easy to forget. If you have any questions at all, just reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll tell you when to copy this shell into your course. And at that point, if you just play with it, I think you'll be very comfortable. Once you've done one or two modules, you're going to be in the flow, and this thing will move very quickly. You're also going to have an advisor kind of in your shell. So if you're having problems getting a student involved in the course and you've reached out and you've tried, you can refer this advisor. I'll probably send you an email with that, is that who that is and how that works is solidified. Okay, good luck. Reach out to me if you have any questions.